Welcome to Copilot Podcasts.
Imagine stepping onto an airplane where your business class suite is larger than some New York apartments, with a 27-inch 4K screen that makes your home TV look tiny. Today, we're exploring United Airlines' ambitious vision for the future of air travel, including their massive fleet transformation, revolutionary cabin designs, and commitment to sustainable aviation. By the end of this episode, you'll understand how air travel is about to change dramatically and what it means for your future flights. And what's fascinating is the scale of this transformation. United isn't just updating a few planes, they're completely reimagining their entire fleet.
Let's start with the numbers. How big is this fleet transformation really?
Well, according to their plans, United is set to acquire over 800 new aircraft by 2032. That's, basically rebuilding their entire fleet from the ground up.
800 aircraft? That's massive.
Yeah, and just for 2025 alone, they're getting 84 new Boeing 737s and 23 new Airbus aircraft. It's a huge undertaking.
And they're not just buying from Boeing, right? They recently made some interesting moves with Airbus too.
Exactly. Just this May, United quietly ordered 40 more A321neo jets. What's interesting is that these won't even start arriving until after 2030.
That's some serious long-term planning.
And here's what's really fascinating. The A321neo is actually their highest scoring customer satisfaction airplane in their entire system.
But let's talk about what's really getting attention. These new Polaris studios. What makes them so special?
Oh, these are game-changing. United just invested $150 million in these new suites, and they're 25% larger than their current business class seats.
25% larger? That's significant.
And they come with these incredible 27-inch 4K OLED entertainment screens, the largest of any U.S. airline. Plus, privacy doors, wireless charging, and even an ottoman for companion seating.
It sounds more like a hotel room than an airplane seat.
That's exactly what they're going for. And it's not just the premium cabins. Every seat in the plane is getting upgraded.
Tell me more about these other cabin improvements.
Well, even the standard Polaris seats are getting sliding doors now, plus 19-inch 4K screens. They're also adding more Premium Plus seats, going from 21 to 35 on the 7879s.
And what about economy? Are regular passengers seeing any improvements?
Absolutely. Every seat gets Bluetooth connectivity, better power outlets, and larger screens. Plus, they're making the overhead bins bigger so everyone can fit a carry-on.
You know what's interesting? While they're making all these luxury improvements, they're also pushing hard on sustainability.
That's one of the most fascinating aspects of United's strategy. They've actually made some groundbreaking moves in sustainable aviation.
Like what?
Well, they just expanded their partnership with Neste to bring sustainable aviation fuel to 3 major U.S. airports: Houston, Newark, and Dulles.
And they're using quite a bit of it, right?
Yeah, they used over 4,300 metric tons of sustainable aviation fuel just last year, making them the leading SF user in the U.S.
But they're not stopping there, are they?
No, they've also invested in this fascinating company called 12 that's developing technology to convert CO2 and water into sustainable aviation fuel using renewable energy.
Wait, they're making fuel from CO2. How does that work?
It's actually inspired by photosynthesis. They use renewable energy to combine captured carbon from the air with hydrogen from water to create fuel components.
That's incredible. And this isn't just theoretical, right?
Not at all. 12's first production plant, Air Plant 1, is opening this year in Washington state. It'll initially produce 50,000 gallons of SAF annually.
You mentioned earlier that United is working with both Boeing and Airbus. How's that relationship evolving?
It's actually quite interesting. While Boeing still makes up about 80% of United's fleet, they're keeping their options open.
And there's some decision-making coming up soon, right?
Yes, by the end of this year, United needs to make a decision about replacing their aging Boeing 777s. They're considering both the Airbus A350 and potentially new Boeing options.
Speaking of new technology, I heard they're investing in some pretty revolutionary aircraft designs.
Ah, you're talking about their investment in Jet Zero. This is fascinating. They're developing what's called a blended wing-body aircraft.
What makes that design so special?
Instead of the traditional tube and wing design we're all familiar with, the aircraft's body and wings form a single, continuous surface. It could reduce fuel consumption by up to 50%.
50%, that's huge.
Yeah, and it's not just a concept. The U.S. Air Force is actually contributing $235 million to help accelerate development, with first flight planned for 2027.
Let's talk about the passenger experience. When will people start seeing these new cabins?
The first aircraft with the new Polaris studios will enter service in 2026, initially flying from San Francisco to Singapore and London.
And what about all these other improvements we've discussed?
They're being rolled out gradually. For example, they're already installing Starlink Wi-Fi on their wide-body aircraft for Mileage Plus members.
Free Wi-Fi? That's a game changer.
And it's not just any Wi-Fi, it's being marketed as the fastest Wi-Fi in the sky.
They're really not holding back on these investments, are they?
No, and what's remarkable is how they're balancing luxury improvements with sustainability initiatives.
Speaking of sustainability, they have a pretty ambitious goal, right?
Yes, they're aiming to be net zero by 2050, and importantly, they're doing it without relying on carbon offsets.
That's a bold strategy.
It is, but as their CEO Scott Kirby says, they're taking the harder, better path of actually reducing emissions from flying rather than making empty gestures.
They're even making smaller changes too, right?
Yeah, like replacing plastic cutlery with bamboo alternatives. It might seem small, but it's part of their broader sustainability strategy.
It really seems like they're thinking about every aspect of the flying experience.
Exactly. From the smallest details like cutlery to major investments in new aircraft and sustainable fuel, everything is being reconsidered.
So what does all this mean for the average traveler?
Well, regardless of where you sit on the plane, you're going to see improvements, better seats, better entertainment, better connectivity, and hopefully a smaller environmental impact.
And this is all happening pretty soon, right?
Yes, some changes are already rolling out, and we'll see major improvements starting next year and continuing through the end of the decade.
It's really quite remarkable when you think about it.
It is. We're witnessing one of the most significant transformations in commercial aviation history.
So when you step back from everything we've covered today, what's the big picture here?
The big picture is that United is fundamentally reimagining what air travel can be: more comfortable, more sustainable, and more technologically advanced.
And they're backing that vision with serious investment.
Exactly. 800 new aircraft, $150 million in cabin improvements, major investments in sustainable fuel. They're putting their money where their mouth is.
Well, that brings us to the end of today's episode of Co-Pilot Podcasts. The next time you step on a United plane, remember, you're not just taking a flight, you're experiencing the future of aviation. Thanks for listening.